first step is you have to design a business model that is desirable.
When I initially moved back to Pensacola, I had a meeting with Lloyd. Lloyd invited me for breakfast, and I was telling him, man, I still have an idea for the entertainment industry. This is what I wanted to do. He was like, all right, I got Startup on the Blocks. So I need you to start coming to Startup on the Blocks and get a little more information on how to work through the tech ecosystem and take your idea and we'll get you where you need to go. My company is called The Know, is an app that is streamlining business for the entertainment industry. Yeah, so if you're a musician, what you would do is pretty much jump on the platform, you'll create a profile, but the way we created the profile is pretty much a cleaner way. So now if they want more information about you, you'll connect your social media platforms, your streaming platforms, and that way they can go directly to it. What we also have included is your calendar. So pretty much you can set your days, you can set your price for your days and automate your booking. So initially talking to Lloyd, my idea was all here, it was there, it was over here, it was over there. It was like, all right, Quinn, I get it. You got a lot that you want to do, but we need you to bring it in just a little bit and then work on your pitch, your story, and how you're going to bring it full circle to get people to understand what you're trying to create.
Most of the programs here wasn't inclusive, and so we said we'll focus on helping founders of color. We also start at the beginning of the thing, at the idea stage, whereas a lot of the programs you see here locally, they start after you're up, and that's not very efficient unless if you don't have a lot of money, you can't recover from your mistakes. And the lean startup system, it actually helps you make mistakes faster before you spend a lot of money. You don't actually start building anything until you got customer buy-in.
There was a need for small businesses to bring brand awareness to their business. I see there's a lot of makers and bakers that they're making all of these goodies and these products, but they can't market it, they can't sell it at the same time, and there needs to be kind of like that middleman, that middle person to help bring economic growth to some of the small businesses in Pensacola. So Taste of Pensacola, I came up with that idea during the pandemic when I saw things at that time that Amazon couldn't fulfill. They didn't even have those products, but the local people in the community, they did. And so there was a ton of people coming out saying, hey, I make masks. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. All the local people here that are just as talented that can actually make those products. And so I wanted to kind of showcase who they were. So with Taste of Pensacola, our income streams, we have several of them. We have the corporate America, we do corporate gifting, just regular consumers, different Pensacola natives that don't live here that want to purchase our boxes, like a taste of weddings, distribution. So we also do bulk sales. So for a private airline, if they want some local snacks and goodies on their passenger flights, they will come to Taste of Pensacola and we will source their vendors here locally, and we'll give a small business owner an opportunity to have reoccurring monthly sales. I've always had a really big vision for Taste of Pensacola. I knew that it could go beyond just local. I know that maybe other communities could possibly use the same platform that I'm trying to build. And I always have these big visions, but I never know how to even get there. Where do I start? I know it's more than, there's a lot of technical things behind it. I know there's a lot of research, but that connection, I never had it until, thankfully, I met and was introduced to Startups on the Blocks and was able to just learn more about how to grow it in terms of data. Things I just never thought about, framework, words like traction. There's a lot of things that I just did not know about in language that I need to know in order to get funding for my business. There's just a lot that I didn't know.
I would go to the stores and look online. They didn't have a wide variety of natural hair products about 8 years ago. And the ones that they did have, the ingredients, it would say that they were all natural. And when I would research the ingredients, a lot of the ingredients were not natural. I make everything, my shampoo, conditioner, I have an oil that I make, and I have 2 different separate butters. Like I had some people who were completely bald and grew their hair. It's about giving women their confidence back in their hair. I have this salon and I have a second salon, and I have my products in about 5 beauty supply stores. So I need a manufacturer to keep up with the demand at this point. Startup on the Blocks has helped my business grow. Send me to different people. I'm able to do different pitch competitions to apply for grants in the community for small businesses. Lloyd's a really good person to connect with. He has a lot of resources here in the community that can help small businesses grow. If you have a product out there and you're trying to go big time, he's the person that you would want to meet with.
So it's really important to have some type of support because 9 times out of 10, most founders start out on their own. And to have somebody that has an idea of how the ecosystem works and is able to tap into other resources and bring back to the community, and that pretty much has encountered some of the roadblocks or going through the same roadblocks that we're currently going through and understands where you're at, your culture and how you respond to things, is a big help because you don't really have too many people that have access to what we have access to here in the community. And a lot of people believe that you have to leave and go to bigger cities to do the things that we're doing here. But I mean, it's one thing to have exposure, but you have to actually know it's here in the community in order to take advantage of the resources. So I get approached and I talk to friends all the time that wants to either start an idea or hear that I'm actually doing the app and want to know more information about how are you doing it or what's the process, what's the path. I'm like, man, we have somebody here, Startup on the Blocks, Lloyd Richard, and Lloyd is here. He's a great resource to the community and to founders that's trying to learn the ecosystem. So join Startup on the Blocks.
Hey, Hugh, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, Lloyd.
Yeah, welcome to Startup on the Blocks. We're glad to have you here as a guest tonight. So we're looking forward to chatting with you and learning a lot about your journey. But first, we want to kind of give a little shout out to our sponsors. So we have quite a few partners here, as you can see on the slides, and so we have some training partners like Startup Science, that little green bub there, and then we have some sponsors that have been sponsoring our pitch competitions, the banks like the First, and also Renaissance Bank, and Innisfree Hotel. They sponsored like three of our pitch competitions, so we're excited to have that kind of support. Florida Power and Light, they did the initial thing for us to get the lean stack training that you were participating in, Hugh, in the Bid Idea Accelerator. Yep, and we were excited this year to bring on the Blackstone Technology Foundation to kind of to extend our reach throughout the world, not just the United States or not just Florida, but over the whole world. So we're looking forward to getting a lot of Black founders trained on the best practices for building a startup. Also, the chambers have been helping us out. And our streaming partner is Bantucola. They stream us to LinkedIn, YouTube, a lot of Facebook pages, and so we're excited for all the help we're getting to kind of move forward. So tonight we have Hugh. So Hugh, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so Lloyd, I'm a North Carolina native. So
Okay.
I just kind of serendipitously happened to kind of connect with you through Blacks in Technology.
Yes.
And thanks a lot for having me. I went to an HBCU. I went to North Carolina Central University.
Wow. Okay.
Biology and chemistry major.
Okay.
Let's see. I initially started out working doing genetic engineering research.
Wow.
But found out that working in a lab wasn't for me.
Okay.
I got two great loves of my life. One is computers, and the other is soccer. And so it just happened that I got tired of doing research. I picked up a book, taught myself about computers, and got a job working in computers.
Okay.
And so, so that's kind of how I got started. And then, and we can talk about how I kind of connected that with soccer. So,
okay. Fantastic. Yeah. So that sounds really, really interesting. We're definitely glad to have you on to kind of share your story. And we definitely have a lot to talk about. Yeah. And so next week we're going to have Glenn McDuffie on. He's connected with the SBA program that I think it's for, you can say for startups, but I think it's more for small businesses that don't have a track record yet. So there's a program out there that you can kind of get up to $20K, with a 680 credit score, and and pay it off over 7 years to kind of get your startup off running. So we'll learn more about that next week. And then on the 20th, Hugh, you and I have been talking about this ChatGPT-3 stuff, and but Robert McNair, he's going to come on and school us all on the ChatGPT stuff, and help the founders know how to take advantage of that. So we're looking forward to that. And then Crystal Logan, she's a fellow Blacks in Technology uh, uh, member, and so she's working on gaming with the video gaming with the taste of Africa in it. So that's interesting. So kind of put some little culture into the gaming world. So we're looking forward to having on. So like our weekly, we do our events weekly, and if you need the links to kind of connect with the events, you can see those on the events.kukuainstitute.org. That's where you can get the links to sign up for the event. I recommend that everybody just put a recurring event in your calendar for Thursday night at 6 p.m. Central Time, and then you can, and get on our email list as well, so you can be prepared to take advantage of these speakers and the networking. Yeah, and so Hugh, so I want to know, so do you think you have that founder's mindset, to kind of the skills and stuff, or where are you at on this idea of getting this mindset so you can kind of take advantage of the stuff in the ecosystem?
I would say I'm getting there. Like
Okay.
I definitely don't lack the confidence per se in my abilities.
Mm-hmm.
But having years ago, I worked as a consultant, and I had my own business.
Mm-hmm.
But that was just me working. I wasn't selling anything other than I was selling myself, right?
Gotcha.
And so this new kind of selling software or whatever, it's something new to kind of grasp. But I'm definitely looking forward to the challenge of doing it. I definitely think I can do it. And actually, I got more every time I talk to you. I get more confidence. So.
Okay, great. So I like this particular chart because it takes a mindset shift to be a founder, and so but if you can develop that founder's mindset and learn the skills and the best practices for being a founder, then you can actually take advantage of all the stuff that's out there in the ecosystem to kind of help you go from an idea to a minimal viable product and all the way till you get ready to exit. So it's a really thing you have to do is get that mindset right, and because a lot of the things you learn being a founder are different than what you may have learned over the years. And so we have this playbook, and guess what's number one is that founder's mindset. And so if you want to know what's a good founder's mindset, Sam Altman, he quite a while ago he recorded an audio that kind of talked what it was about and what it's like to be a founder. So do you know who Sam Altman is right now?
Name sounds familiar.
Yeah, so he's the guy that is the CEO of OpenAI.
That's right. There you go. I was looking at. Yeah, I saw him in interviewed.
Yeah, but he actually used to be the with the Y Combinator.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was one of the original founders of Y Combinator. And so of course you're familiar with the leanstack.com number 2, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
It's mind blowing.
Yes. So the part of the best practices is leveraging the Lean Startup methodology and the Lean Stack platform. Ash Maurya, he actually created the Lean Canvas that's had become the hallmark for your business model. And so that's you have to that's what most founders leverage to actually to build their MVP and the best practices. So we talk about Y Combinator, and number 3 is the startup school. Y Combinator, since it was so competitive to get in Y Combinator, they started the startup school where you can, the same training that you get in Y Combinator, you can actually get it online through the startup school. So we recommend that at least you go through that. But the beautiful thing about the startup school is you're actually, every lesson you're actually working on your own startup. That's so, like in the lean stack program, you're working on your own startup, right?
Right.
All
Exactly.
these programs, you're literally working on what you're trying to do and improve it. And the startup science is the same thing. You're literally documenting and working on your startup. And all these 3 different programs, they complement each other and give you a really good deal. So you've been asking me a lot of questions about being a founder. So Startup School and Y Combinator, they have a library where they accumulated stuff since 2005.
Wow.
So anything you want to know about startups, you can go to that library, and they got videos and stuff that you can actually, learn, and get your questions answered. So that's the neat thing about that. So number 4, and I'm going through this just so people really understand, because a lot of people have questions about being a founder. And this little 7-step playbook is literally what we created to kind of, so you don't have to get lost in all the minutia.
Right.
And so the number 4 is this site F6S, but there are other founder sites as well. And these sites are where you create a profile of someone. You create a personal profile and a startup, your startup profile. And so this site is the thing that you build credibility on, because as you do stuff, so like, for example, you just completed the BIT Idea Accelerator.
Correct.
Yeah. And so you also participated in the pitch competition, the demo day, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So you would go in your profile in F6S, you would actually put that information in there, including the video of you pitching, and then that's building up your profile. So now what people know is that you actually understand the basis of designing a scalable business model, and so on and so forth. So it's like your credibility, and
right.
And so it also tracks your progress.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's what your profile does for you. So like when you look at, we were talking about the Microsoft for Startup thing earlier, and so one of the, they have some benefits for you at the idea stage. And so one of the benefits is that they form your company for you, your Delaware corporation. But the company that you're doing that, you also can build up your profile on that and so on and so forth. But the other beautiful thing about that, Hugh, is that, we were talking earlier about co-founders and equity and all of that kind of stuff. So, but they also have the programs that manage your cap table, to all that kind of stuff too. So you learn about that as well.
Right.
So you kind of see how this stuff ties together.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. And so what I tell people about sites like F6S and these other ones is, like, when you go to apply for a loan, they look at your credit report.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're a startup founder, they don't look at your credit report. They look at your track record of what you've been doing.
Right.
They want to know your ability to build what you're trying to build.
Right. Gotcha.
You see what? So
it makes total sense. And like I was telling you, the first time we met, during the BIT course,
yeah,
you gave us so much information, I was overwhelmed. So yeah, I'm taking a note to make sure that I just follow these simple steps right here.
The playbook, yeah.
Yeah, so, these simple steps.
Yeah.
Instead of getting overwhelmed by all the information. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did hear that quite a bit. But the deal is, if you know that the ecosystem provides you a lot of resources to help
Mhm.
you along the way, that takes a lot of stress off you.
No,
You-
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And
And so,
like we were saying earlier, and then once you start going through this process, because you're iterating through this process,
mhm.
but you're actually moving forward,
Yes,
right? And
that's
it's
it.
almost like a snowball going down the hill, right? You're
Mhm.
building up speed, momentum, and so yeah, it's kind of cool to see how far I've come, in the month or so since we first spoke. So
Yeah. So yeah, number five, the local startup communities, and so with Startup on the Blocks, this event we're doing tonight, it's not local per se, but it's online, so it extends itself to. So if you don't have events in your area, you can at least participate in this event. And in the first hour, we do networking, and in the second hour, we do have guests like you on to share their story. And so attend these weekly events, and so that's a good deal right there. And then finally, you want to leverage the resources in the ecosystem, and that's there's so many resources in the ecosystem that help you along the journey. And so like when you start a Main Street business, you have to go out and get loans uh, or borrow money from your friends and family. But in the startup world, it provides enough resources for you actually to build what you're trying to build without even you
right.
having to spend your own money. And so that's the idea of this playbook. Yeah, and this is just kind of recap. We take the individual person and we help them learn these best practices through the lean stack stuff like you're familiar with. We also offer some other tools to our founders as well, so that you don't have to spend money on to kind of move forward. And then if you learn all these best practices, then you can take advantage of the programs that are out there for underrepresented founders, and you can take advantage of the program that are out there for all founders. So it's a really a neat situation. Uh, and so one of the things I like to mention to people is that a lot of the programs that give you a bunch of funding, they have pathways to get there. And so, but the number one thing is that you have to learn how to pitch your idea clearly and concisely, how to write in an application, online application or form, how what your business does or what your business will do and how you will make money. And then there's a lot of terms you have to learn, and so so business lean stack doesn't teach you all the stuff, but like startup school, it has all the terms you need to learn, and our startup science program also has all the terms that you need to learn, because you're gonna when your people are talking to you, they're gonna ask questions, and so you need to kind of start getting familiar with the terms. So I could go on and on about all the different programs and resources that are out there to support you, and so there's literally too many for you to actually take advantage of. Yeah, yeah, but I noticed a lot of the ones that actually provide like 250,000, 100,000, or even more. You see the same founders take in 1 year. You see the same founders in all of these programs, like Google for Black founders get 100,000, 150,000.
Mhm.
The other program, from either I think it's Morgan Stanley or J.P. Morgan or somebody, they have a program for 250,000.
Mhm.
And then the Pharrell and the Black Ambition stuff, they have pitch competitions. So all these things, they complement each other. But if you get involved, you can take advantage of that. And that's why we're here, to help you become aware of all of this
No,
stuff.
this is great, and I look forward to it. To be honest with you,
Yeah. And so like down here at the bottom, I put some of the startup programs but like so like this Goody Nation, um, they are they support Black and Brown founders, and but they have the connections to all the major programs, and so they're kind of the accountability organizations for startups. So
Okay.
like yeah, so when you if you go to goodnation.org and apply to get in their program, they do an assessment to kind of see where you are and see if you're ready. But if you get in there, then they provide so many resources for you to have a platform for founders, and that have mentors, connections for expertise. They have weekly stand-ups and the whole work. So it's just a lot of stuff out there to kind of help you move forward. And so that's why this is important, is that people get out there starting working on ideas and spending money that they don't really have to spend, to kind of move forward. Yes. And so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Yeah. So these are some of our mentors. They have a variety of expertise from marketing to financial, business development. I mean, just a wide variety of stuff, and yeah, and so and they can kind of help keep you on the right track to kind of move forward. So we were talking about the journey, Hugh. Um, so I don't know if you noticed this chart a lot in the
Oh
program.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So this will I'll stop at this chart, but it's just literally to let you know you actually it this you go through all these different phases, but as you go through these, this foundation and business model design, and then you go through this problem solution fit phase, and then solution customer fit phase, product market fit. You can see it actually takes time,
Right.
but it's literally a journey. But with the tools in the lean stack thing, you can literally track your progress through this and your KPIs so you can get to this point where you get the product market fit, and you get that you can take on investments to kind of reach your goals. Yeah, but it is a journey.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like it goes. Well, I don't know. Seems like it could go pretty quick though, right?
Yeah, it can. Um, yeah, this is another spin on it, but I won't spend much time. But this is the startup science life cycle journey thing. And so, we were talking earlier, and I was suggesting that you go ahead and start taking the courses in here, because it's going to help you learn all the terms. It's going to help you make sure you're doing everything you need to do so you can have a successful exit.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's kind of what's important about that program. Yeah. So you got any questions?
Oh, I have tons of
about
questions.
what
I
we.
mean, I love the fact that you're stressing the learning the terminology. So
Mhm.
for me, teaching myself basic computer science, right, that was a big challenge. Going
Yeah.
from a science background to computer background is to teach myself the language, so when I'm
Yes.
communicating with people. And so that's one of the big challenges, being a business person or that kind of thing, a business leader, is how to, speak to that level.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like let's say you get into some of these applications, they might ask you what's your customer acquisition cost, or what's the lifetime value of your customers, or um, in all these marketing terms. But you can learn all that stuff, in the startup science, and that way you can do it. But what I like about the Lean Stack program that you all went through with the business model design, and so that traction roadmap, it that's really a good tool, because you're modeling your growth and your startup with, just like if you're just doing a direct to consumer type thing, you can do it
Mm.
with like seven numbers. but the deal is those 7 numbers are based on the same questions. Like when you do the pitch competition or whatever, they're going to ask you what those actually some of that stuff, and they're trying to figure out whether you have a viable business model or not, and just based on that. So if you can do that traction roadmap and know what some of that stuff is, you the judges and these people that are reviewing your application can actually determine if your business model is viable or not. Yes.
Is that the big challenge for us as entrepreneurs? Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're out there pitching and getting these pitch competitions, and if they're asking you these questions about your business, and they literally can do a back of the envelope calculation to see if your business is viable. So what I mean by that, so based on the price you're charging for your product or service, and so they want you to, if you're trying to get venture capital, they want you to get to the point where you get from 5 to 10 million recurring revenue. And so if your business model doesn't allow for that, or if it requires you to market to more potential customers than you can have money for, then that's a no-brainer. Your business model is broken.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you need to see 1 million people to make, what you're trying to make in a year, and it costs so much money to reach that many people, we know your business model is broken.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's but that, you talk about confidence, that'll build your confidence up. And once you see, based on your pricing and all these things, that you can literally market to get that many people. And that traction roadmap literally tells you how many people you have to market to in order to close, to keep that curve going.
So, I mean, do you find that the lean stack, that marketing, that number that you need to get to, is that fairly accurate most of the time?
Well, it sets you a goal to do, and it's based on the 10x, growth rate, the mindset.
Right.
As a founder, that's one of the things you'll learn. You have that 10x growth rate, and so but for you to have clarity, in order for you to meet that goal for next month or the month after, you need to know how many people you need to reach in order to close to keep on track for that. And that's
right.
And that's the benefit of that traction roadmap. Yeah.
That's probably the one area that's like the gray area for me. That marketing, kind of like I know what we're doing. I know it works, but then how do you kind of bring the customers in and that kind of thing. So
when you actually go back and look at that tool, you still have access to the platform. Just look at all the numbers, like because it plots out all the numbers month by month. And so one of the numbers is how many customers you need to market to in order to get the number you need to stay on track.
Right.
And so you'll see it. So that can be your metric, so you can always know whether you stand on track or not.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's just something you don't see at first, but as the more you look at it, you'll see the significance of it. Yes. All righty. So tell us a little bit about your startup, and so we can kind of know what you're working on.
Yeah, okay. So where do I start? So this serendipitous journey to get into a startup. Like I said earlier, one of my loves is soccer.
Okay.
And I played in high school and some in college. I love to play, but back when I was coming up, there was no professional soccer or whatever, and we didn't have very many good coaches.
Gotcha.
And then lo and behold, I have a son who says he wants to be a soccer player.
Wow.
Right. So, I want to be supportive, and you want to help him, because with my background, having played before, I know that coaching is a big part of helping somebody be successful, right? Just like you're coaching me, it helps tremendously. Right. So I go through start this journey of trying to help him become a soccer player, and you kind of go through the steps of, what does he need to do? What's he need to work on? And one of the things I started doing was to stop talking about him. I started observing this where my biology and chemistry, my science background comes in, learning systems and how things work, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
So then I started examining my environment, or his environment per se, right? And so I kind of looking at the other kids out there, which ones are good, why is this kid better than the other one, right? Mm-hmm. And so I started looking at, well, all these kids had something in common. They all did extra work.
Yes.
Right. And so, well, who were they going to? And I started looking at the people that were coaching them. And so this is kind of how we kind of got into this, this kind of wanting to find him good coaching so he can make the best use of his time and really enjoy what he was doing. Mm-hmm. But then COVID hit. Okay. Right. So now we're all locked up. We can't do the things, whatever. And I'm like, well, I want him to have his normal routine and still get out of the house and exercise and do those kind of things, right? Because and one thing about COVID is we found out that a lot of kids could really adapt to virtual learning.
Okay.
And so I start doing research. Well, let me find stuff that he can work on, because he was cut off from his teams and his coaches and whatnot. And so let me find things he can work on. So then I started scouring the internet for training material. Okay. And so I ended up kind of building a curriculum for him to work on. And he had somebody he was working with. And so I started like taking video, right? Okay. I had video on my phone. Hey, look at this, do these drills. Sometimes we'd even share the video of him doing stuff. I'd either record it or even do a Zoom call, right? Mm-hmm. But at the end, what I found out was his growth was just exponential.
Wow.
Just doing this kind of targeted, very specific learning. And the person he was working with they had a relationship of, and he explained it to my son, like what he wanted to work on and how they were going to get there. Right. So he knew what he needed to do. And so back to the curriculum thing, kind of, we mapped all this out. And as I started applying it, right, he went from being just a kid on a recreational team to, I think he got on a team that was ranked number 2 in the nation.
Wow, right? That's amazing.
Now, he wasn't one of the top players.
He
the coach happened to see something in him, because I think his work ethic, he saw the fundamentals were there, right? And I'm like, okay, well, let's keep doing this, right? And so then he went from being just a person on the team to being one of the top players.
Okay.
Right. If you look at my website, the ppp-performance.dev, you'll see some of that journey, right? Some of his training, just pictures. But then what you'll see is one of them is he got, most outstanding player in a tournament. Okay. Well, that transformation was in a very short amount of time.
Okay.
Right. And this is how I can like, wow, I'm like, there's something to this. Maybe I can do something with this. Right. And I'm still going through, I think, some of the process of interviewing what we'll call customers, right? I'm talking to coaches, talking to parents, I'm talking to other players, just, hey, what do you think about, just getting feedback from them. And so that's kind of where we kind of got on this idea of coming up with this platform for building curriculum, and then just kind of working through how to do that and monetize it. I think when I talked to you, I was thinking about just doing it, just giving it away. And then I think you quickly talked me into making money from it. So,
okay, good, yeah. So, it's amazing that how we were talking earlier. So you're trying to say how this stuff relates to each other, and so as we're talking, I'm sure you were seeing how things connect.
Yeah, it's scary, really.
Yeah.
The fact that I'm in this situation talking to you right now, right? I wouldn't have imagined this, several months ago. So.
Right. And so one of the things you said was COVID, and it seems like that's happening a lot lately. And so I kind of want to make sure people see the point, the significance of COVID. COVID, caused a lot of innovation Yeah, and so so the world changed, so you have to figure out how to adapt. And so COVID actually speeded up the adoption of AI and a whole bunch of things. So it just caused the acceleration of innovation, and so but that's what startup founders are about, is creating solutions to solve problems. And the lean startup methodology is all about working with the customers to 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 build something the customers actually is willing to pay you to build, so they can actually use it.
Yeah, because I was in the in the lean stack. They have the two stories. They have Larry and Steve, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was Larry all day long. I was going to go out and build it and do all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm happy I talked to you. Like, yeah, no, don't do that. Just get your customers first, and then build your product. So, kind of, it's a nice pivot, right?
Well,
nice
it's it's a cost saving thing, because you can build something that people don't have any buy-in to buy, and you spend a lot of time and money doing that. And so you don't have to do that too many times to realize that's not the right way to do it. And so, and the reason why, I'm a testament, because when I retired, I spent a couple $100,000 on an application without working with the customer. I worked with the users, but I didn't work with the people spending the money. So at the end, I was out of $200,000 with something that I couldn't make any money on. And so I don't want you or anybody else to go through that same situation. Learn the best practices,
right,
so you can avoid these pitfalls and move forward. Okay, so where are you, in what you're doing now? Like when you look at that roadmap, let me bring it back up here. Where are you on this roadmap, so we can kind of get a feel for what the deal is?
Now, normally when I get asked this question, I say I'm at the idea phase, right? But I don't see that on here.
Yeah, so the business model design foundation thing is the idea stage.
Right.
You're literally building a business model around your idea.
Right. Because I originally had started working on an API for the curriculum.
Okay.
So I kind of done some work on that.
Okay.
And then kind of stopped and kind of gone back to the idea phase. And then it's more to your point of having those conversations with customers, right? So I've gone and I identified several types of customers, whether the players' parents, coaches, or the organizations. I started gone back and started having those conversations again to kind of fine tune what it is that they will use and buy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to go back and then do the MVP based on that feedback. Now you guys were suggesting that I just pick one customer segment. That's kind of the tough one, right?
So you talk about that, but when you look at the lean canvas and the customer thing, so the whole, what you got to remember is that you want to get some traction,
right?
So what that customer segment thing is to find your earliest adopter, so you can actually get some traction,
right?
So it's that same idea, is that there is a lot of potential customers out there, but it's hard to spend money to reach all those customers. So you find the one that you don't have to spend the amount of money. That's
right.
To get that early traction.
Right. And then I've identified that group, and so
okay.
I feel like I'm headed in the right direction. So
okay, yeah. So that's kind of what the idea is. So you did your business model. So what's your how just tell me about how you plan to make money with your startup idea.
Well, primarily it's going to be a yearly subscription.
Okay.
yearly subscription. I originally had thought to make it just a one-time fee,
Okay.
but why not make it a yearly subscription?
Yeah.
Right.
But in order to do your revenue model, how much are you going to charge for that yearly subscription? So
I originally had started with $60
okay.
because that's a common amount for these type of apps, but they don't actually do the same thing. So I think I'm going to charge $120.
But see, so kind of what my point is you have to
Yeah.
kind of come up with a number and see how that number works in that traction roadmap.
Right.
And then if it doesn't work right, then you can change the number.
Yeah, I can change the number, but I'm thinking 120 is reasonable for the market that I'm going for, because the money's there, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think I was speaking with the gentleman, the DK, or the gentleman from Philadelphia, the coach, mentor from Philadelphia. I can't remember his name.
Okay, yeah, Vince. And Vince was suggesting I charge like $500 just to, and I'm just like, I don't know about that. I don't know how to sell that, but it's possibly I could. But that's where I said that's like that gray area for me, that marketing. Well,
I feel like 120 is doable. Go ahead.
So the deal is, the Lean Startup, they have a methodology of best practices for doing that. So typically, what you would think is, so how are soccer players and coaches training and learn, how the players learning and how the coaches train them? What are they doing now, and what are they spending?
The ones that do extra spend, about $120 maybe, or $200 a month probably.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and this tool will be I'm sorry. And then there's other people that would spend, but they may not know, who to go to, right? So that's part of the API. I'm sorry, the platform that I'm building is connecting players with coaches.
Okay.
It's going to help us connect players with coaches. So I feel like, that 120 is good. And then you ask how I'm going to make money. So mainly it's a subscription, right? But then also the coaches will do extra training. And I feel like I would like to, I get feedback from you, have that as a service included in the app, where the coaches, as a supplement, can assign extra training for their players, which they then will charge or collect when they do their individual sessions. And so I take a fee from that.
Yeah, and so just what I would recommend is just and that's what this customer engagement stuff is all about. Because what's going to happen is and you'll learn this when you're trying to design your solution, is that when your customers are doing something right now. So the question you have to ask yourself is, how am I going to get them to switch from what they're doing to using your thing? And so that's what that customer forces map is all about. That tool wasn't in the business model design thing, but you should actually.
I'm sorry. So maybe I was a little unclear there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There are a number of customers that would be willing to use this tool.
Okay.
Right. You know what I mean? But there are people that do extra, and there are people that want to do extra. So it's a combination of, getting the people to do extra. They're going to do extra anyway, right? If they have some more material to go by, they have no problems doing that, right? Okay. They have more study material. They're going to consume as much as you can give them, pretty much. Okay. And then there's another group of people, parents come up to me and goes, "Hey, your son is really good. Does he do extra?" I go, "Yes, he does do extra." And if you present them with the opportunity, "Hey, I can provide you with this," they would gladly take it.
Yeah. So I remember one of the founders that's doing something similar with teaching golf to young people, and so one of the things I suggested to him was, So he had did it with himself, and in your case, you did it with your son. So this is just a hypothetical thing, just
Right.
to
No,
throw it out there. So let's say um, you partner with the school or camp, and you get like 10 soccer players, or whatever that's in a camp or whatever, and you use all these best practices that you will just based on what
right.
your app is, and then so right now you saw it help your son, but people don't like a data point of one, but then you could say, well,
Right. No, I
I,
agree.
I partner with this school or this camp.
No, I have a club that I'm going to partner with for that.
Yeah,
Exactly what you're saying.
yeah, and then so like when now and you take them through your thing, and then now you got evidence of the progress that this club made, and how does that affect your ability to pitch what you're doing? Because
No,
if you could, yeah, so yeah, that's kind of what the deal is.
yeah, and that's a great point, Lloyd. And so what typically happens in group activities,
Mm-hmm.
coaches will design their activities around things the entire group can do.
Yes.
And so, and one thing that gets left out is individual skills,
Okay. Okay.
right? And so, yeah, to your point, yeah, I look forward to kind of, taking that approach that you just suggested. And because coaches just don't have time when they're doing it, but if they can assign you homework to do while you're away, then what happens is, what's the best analogy is, if you look at a soccer player as an ingredient to a meal,
Yeah. Okay.
right? And you look at the coach as the cook.
Okay.
The coach wants the ingredient, something he can work with to prepare
Yes.
his meal, right? And what the problem, if you look at it this way, is the kids don't have the skills necessary to do the thing the coach needs to help him prepare the meal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think this is the feedback I'm getting from the coaches,
Yeah.
is that this is going to help benefit them because they can do more at their practices because their players are more advanced.
Yeah, yeah. So you're saying that what you may, as opposed to doing a group thing, you may want to take several individuals one at a time through your.
No. I'm not. I don't disagree with what you said. What I'm
Mhm.
saying is, this is in addition to whatever the kids are doing at their camp, their
Yeah.
training.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do this also, other stuff also,
Okay.
right? Because typically what happens is, when you're in a group setting, like I said, you can only do things that everybody can do.
Yeah.
And you need to get everybody up to the same level, right? And this is
Mhm.
what the curriculum is going to allow you to do, is get everybody up to the same level, and then you can kind of do some more advanced stuff.
Gotcha.
But you could take, it's actually sometimes a lot easier to work with 10, but it's more of an individual thing, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So yeah. So, but for me, I don't know the structure of these camps. So if they're like an all day thing for a week, all day thing for 2 weeks, and then so what I'm saying, part of that,
I got you. Yep.
yeah, part of that thing, they could spend 2 hours each day on your methodology, and you could do them at different times.
So there's a gentleman that he does training for disadvantaged,
Mhm.
kids or whatever, and he does camps during the summer. So
Yeah.
to your point, if I can get something done kind of quickly, I think it'd be good for me to talk to him, because he can see the kids when they come in, right, at the
Mhm.
beginning of camp, right?
Yeah.
And then if you give them work to do, and you say, I want you guys to work on these things, then he can see, he can definitely see the improvement.
Yeah.
And that I assume that'll be the same, because that's what happened with my son, right? So I'm
Yeah.
expecting that same thing. But to your point, a data point of one doesn't really show what you need to show. So
Yeah. And so when you start thinking about your traction, I remember you saying part of your thing is to work with clubs and teams and stuff, and so so that's how you want to get some traction with what you're doing, is if it's just even if it's just one club or team or one camp at a time, but just to kind of
That's all it takes. I mean, like you said, as long as I can show, hey, this is my customer, then you kind of have your foot in the door, right? Because at the end of the day, the soccer community is a small community. Everybody knows everybody, right? So if you're at one club, the person that runs that club probably played with the person from the other club, at some point, and it knows that person, right?
Yeah.
So, I think in my pitch, I think, the question was asked, the marketing, the gray area marketing, because I was kind of hoping, or my plan is to get a league-wide endorsement, if I can kind of prove what we're doing with this app, right? Hopefully that won't be too difficult. So, it's a big if, but all the conversations I've had so far with at least coaches and people that run clubs, the small ones so far, it's been positive.
Good, fantastic. Yeah. So so from you've been asking a bunch of questions, and so when somebody is new to the startup world, there are a lot of questions out there, and that's this. If you notice the idea of a playbook, I'm pretty sure the soccer clubs or soccer teams have a playbook that they kind of go by. So it's that same terminology to kind of the startup world adopts that same terminology. Yes. So and then having the tools to kind of move forward. So so that's kind of what the deal is. So what's some of your biggest questions about being a founder? And you were asking me earlier about the purpose of your co-founder or who you should bring in. So we can talk about that a little bit because
that kind of sums up the biggest question, right?
Okay.
How do you kind of form your team, your organization, that kind of stuff? Who do you take along with you? Because I've heard horror stories of people who've gone into business with other people that it wasn't a good fit, kind of thing, right? And I just, I prefer to avoid stuff like that. Yeah. But I also know that I can't do it all by myself, right?
Gotcha.
Or if I did, it would take me forever to get it done. So
and so what I would say for most founders out there, and there are some single founders out there, and so the bottom line is if you're a single, a solo founder, if you can get traction as a solo founder, you're good to go. But like if you the whole idea of the being a founder in your journey is you start with an idea, and which is worth zero. But then when you get your team working on that idea and proving out and building stuff, it becomes valuable. But if your team, people are going out spending money to pay these people to develop stuff for them, but the real best approach is to find a co-founder that actually can build it.
Right.
Yeah. And so now, so that co-founder earns equity, by building the product. And so you got people, out there paying people to build stuff. But what the whole idea is that you and a co-founders or your team, you're working on this idea that's never been done before. And so this is the, I'm glad we're talking about this because, so I'm going to put a stamp one more time. So literally the training you just went through is this business model design and foundations training. And so you see what it says here? Pitch your idea clearly and concisely.
Right.
And so if you can see, earlier we were talking about you're making money and you're saying you think when you want to charge this and you think you want to charge that, or you're not sure what you want to charge. But so if you tell that to somebody you want to be a co-founder, they're not going to have confidence in what you're doing. So the whole idea is that's why this whole idea about pitching clearly and concisely. If you are confident about how you're going to make money, and that's the thing that's going to pull that co-founder in or get you into that program.
Right.
You see the difference?
Right.
So so literally when you design your business model, you're designing it so you can recruit all the help you need because it's a solid business model. And from that, you can go from something that's worth nothing by bringing in these co-founders that can actually do work to get to your MVP. And now your startup idea is starting to get value.
Right.
And so when you as you move along here, you're literally increasing the value, but you started with an idea.
Right.
So the people that are going out there hiring somebody to build an MVP, they're spending money to kind of get further along this line.
Right. So to address what you're saying, right? So you asked me about how I would make money. I said subscription, and I gave you the amount, $120. If you are unsure about the subscription amount, does that turn off co-founders?
Well, if you don't have confidence, how are they going to have confidence to spend their time helping you build something?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's what
hold on. So is not knowing the exact amount lack of confidence, or?
Well, so the tool, the traction roadmap tool, that's what it's there for, to help you understand it so you can decide.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Even if you decide on the wrong thing, at least you made a decision. But see, that traction roadmap will give you a pretty good idea. You see, it's kind of what my point is.
Yeah.
And but literally, this is the most important thing is so you literally what this is the whole thing is. That's why this pitching clearly and concisely. That's the problem I had. So when I was formulating the business model for cognitive big data system, I would get to this thing on how we make money in the financials, and my confidence level would drop in my pitch. But all the other stuff I was doing, now my confidence was high. and
I would say my it's not the amount of money to charge. It's the that's kind of this blanket, hey, you need to get to this many people and to get this many customers. How
much you charge affects how many people you have to get.
I got that.
Okay.
But the lack of confidence is, you mean that discrepancy of, well, if you get this many people to come to your site or look at your product, how many people will buy, right? And I guess, the lean stack is like, that's a pretty certain number according to you guys. And that's the part I have trouble with.
Yeah, but there's industry standards for that. So you don't have to, you can just learn what the industry standards are for the conversion rates for people who come to sites, or people how many sales calls you have to make or whatever. There's some industry standards for that. And so if you say you can acquire, 20% of the people you contact, people are going to look at you and say they're going to be suspicious. How you can convert that many people, 20% of the people you reach, that's pretty high. But that's all I'm saying is it's really so the whole idea about learning how to pitch your idea clearly and concisely, that is the number one thing that allows you to get stakeholders.
Right.
Co-founders, get into programs and the whole work. But you could be wrong in what you're pitching, but the deal is you still have to know how to use the tools to kind of
And I got you. I understand what you're saying.
But it's important. But so like the other thing about the co-founder thing is it's like Y Combinator Startup School. They have a program for helping you find a co-founder. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, and let me ask you a question.
Yes.
How's that worked out? Have you used them for that?
No, I haven't used them for it. But what I've learned from it is like what they kind of literally suggest is, let's say you try a developer, a CTO out and see on a small project, and it's just it's like dating. It's like when you're dating, you literally trying to see if that person is a good fit. Yeah. But you still have to be able to, they still have to be interested in what the whole project is about. And you're the person that has to pitch it to them to recruit them in. And so but that's what the best practices is with the lean stack is you're literally learning what it takes to communicate. See that lean canvas is your business model. And if you put the effort in that business model and use the tools, other tools like the traction roadmap, and you can literally learn how to pitch your idea clearly and concisely. Because you're gonna have confidence if you can do that, if you can model your business, and instead of like what I was using to actually to build my financial model for my startup, it was a lot of information, and it was real complicated,
right?
And I didn't have any confidence in it. But using the simplified model, it actually helped me see with a lot more clarity, and everything. So the whole point of this whole conversation is
I got you.
Yeah. The tool is there, and that's part of the purpose, because so this is kind of the way you have to look at that business model design. So your business model design, you remember the three things that were required. People have to desire what you're building. What you're building, it has to be feasible, and it has to be viable. You're building. Yeah. So that traction roadmap, it helps you determine the viability of your business model. Whether you can do this 10x.
Right. So, and I guess my question I have is, so when you get to the point of you're having these customer conversations, about the tool that you're going to build for them, right? And there's interest, and they want to buy it, or they said they're willing to buy it. In your experience, are you generally approaching? I forgot what you call it. They're not the early adopters. Early adopters.
Mm-hmm.
What's the percentage of those people when you approach them that are interested?
So the deal is when you fill out this customer forces canvas, they're literally, see, the whole idea is you have an idea. So the problem you have is you have an idea what you want to build, what you think you want to build, but when you go out and fill out this customer forces thing, you're going to find out what the customers really want,
right?
And so that might be different than what you think they want. And so what I learned from the training and doing this and working with the founders is, and what Ash is saying is that you can literally do about 10 of these customer forces things and get a pretty good idea, what your solution should be.
Right, but I guess my question is, how does that customer, you do that, but so those would be your early adopters, right?
Yeah.
How does that correlate to any other number as far as for your marketing? Like, well, these people are interested.
So this particular thing is, so that's not about the marketing.
Okay, all right.
That's about, so see, literally all your potential customers are doing something now. and so now you coming in with a new product and you want them to change.
See now that you keep saying that.
Yeah,
And a lot of my potential customers aren't doing anything.
yeah.
They don't because they don't know any better.
But see, so the question, how are you going to get them to switch from not doing anything to doing what you're doing? And that's what the customer forces thing is all about.
Yeah, because they actually want to do something.
Yeah,
they just don't know what it is, right? So.
Yeah, but yeah, and so that's part of the methodology that you have to kind of go through. But yeah, so it's a journey, and the kind of we took a different approach with you tonight, Hugh, because there's a lot of questions that founders have, and so but you just get on the journey and you start learning.
No, I mean, I got it. And you've emphasized this one point about, we always talk about being concise, right?
Yeah.
But I guess, the point that you're kind of nailing home is, when people are asking you about how to make money, make sure you're extra confident in your answer, right?
Well, but you're confident because you built your business model with the lean canvas, and you used the traction roadmap to kind of validate your business model.
Mm-hmm.
You stress tested your business model.
Right.
That's where your confidence comes in.
Right.
And so that's what the point is the clearer you can be about your business model and how you make money with it, because that's really what you're pitching, how you make money. So that's all the people you're trying to get in these programs, they're trying to run this pitch company. They want to know how you're going to make money.
Right.
And so you got to clearly say that. You can't get a person to come in and be your co-founder if they're not sure how you're going to make money.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
I got you.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, so you're definitely on the right track. It's just keep pressing on the journey and moving forward, to kind of make it happen. And you're the man, so you can do it.
I'm trying not to be Larry though. I'm trying to be Steve. So
okay. But just dig into the tools, dig into that startup science stuff, and all this stuff, all the questions you got, they will be answered. So that's why I say, and all of these tools and all this training, they don't take a lot of time to go through. So if you go through them,
right,
they're going to give you the information you want, that you're looking for.
Right.
So what I recommend to you right now, go log into that startup science, go through that, and then also based on the traction roadmap thing, I would say go back and just keep, like you did with you experiment with a lot of different business models. So you go back and then you experiment for all those business models. You can build a traction roadmap for each one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just keep playing with it, but also go ahead and get that book, Scaling Lean, if you haven't. Okay, good.
Yeah.
And just is there anything in there about the traction roadmap? Just not traction.
I just got it. I just got it. I didn't haven't started.
Yeah, look and see if it's got anything about the customer forces. If it doesn't, but anyway, that's what you want to start a Google, and then also you want to say, like, Ash. Ash does a lot of interviews, and so you want to Google to see if he's telling you a little bit about the customer forces thing, because that's your kind of next step.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the customer forces is for your traction.
No, the customer forces is trying to understand what it's going to take that customer to switch and start using your product from what
no.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay. And that's what the Lloyd. That's the thing, because everyone I talk to is like, oh yeah, I want when you get it, I want to use it, right?
But yeah, but so they'll tell you that now, yeah,
right.
But and so that's what you got to be careful about. So this is a lot of times you need to be working on something that people are willing to give you money right now before it's actually done.
Right.
Yeah, and so that's when they're literally Yeah, so you have to be careful. Make sure all those people that's saying they want it are the people that's willing to spend the money. But that customer forces thing, it literally maps it out and tells you what your solution. And like you said, you probably did a lot of stuff already, but you want to document it to make sure you're following the best practices. You're not missing something.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All righty. So we went a little over here, but I'm glad that you're a good founder and trying to learn and asking questions that kind of move forward.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to be definitely sending more people your way. So I run into people.
Yeah,
all the time who use
the
this.
application is open right now for the Blacks in Technology second cohort.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, so and I'll start publishing that in the social media stuff so people know how to get to the link. It's definitely open. But the training that we do is open to anybody. You don't have to be a member of the cohort. If you just want to start taking the training, you can go ahead and start taking the training. You don't have to wait for a cohort.
Oh yeah, but I think the cohort is awesome though.
Yeah, fantastic.
Going through with all the other people. So.
All righty. Well, any parting comments before we get out of here?
No, hey, like I said, I'm always grateful. Thank you for being here for us. So, and hopefully, I'll be a big success one day. And you're like, yeah, I remember that guy when he was nothing. So.
Well, just keep working and working smart. Following the best practices, and you'll be shocked at the help you'll get to kind of move you forward. We appreciate you being here, and so we look forward to seeing everybody next week as well. And so you all go out there and make some progress and have a good weekend and a good beginning of next week.
Thank you. Happy.
Bye. Bye.